This radio program is intended to be for informational purposes only. This information does not constitute legal advice. The law is constantly changing. The information may not be complete or correct, depending upon the date and your particular legal problem. Each legal problem depends on its individual facts, and different jurisdictions have different laws and regulations. Because of that, you should not act or rely on any of the information in this segment without seeking the advice of a competent attorney licensed to practice law in your jurisdiction for your particular problem. And one of those guys we know of is Marshall Chriswell, who joins us this morning. Marshall, good morning.
Good morning.
Live from the law offices of Marshall Chriswell, located today in your kitchen, huh?
That's right. Like a lot of people, I'm stuck at home, so.
All right.
But we're making the best of it.
So lawyering in pajamas this morning with Marshall. Let's talk about it. The COVID-19 crisis, the various ramifications of it, they obviously have to have an effect on the way that you practice law, right?
Well, yeah, like every industry in our county, our region, our state, and all over the country, lawyers have been affected, and our clients have been affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. For us, it's been kind of a little bit of a whirlwind. Last Monday, we had our courthouse in Indiana. We had a partial shutdown, and then by Thursday of last week, the Supreme Court had issued an order that all courthouses are generally closed to the public, and that no proceedings are going to take place except for what they and the president judges across the state have deemed essential functions. So, so right now, the courthouses are basically shut down unless you've got, emergency protection from abuse cases, emergency child custody hearings, juvenile hearings, and criminal bond hearings. And so, all of the court work has basically ground to a halt. But there are still lots of things to do, and I have many, as I'm sure lots of lawyers do, many questions from clients regarding, their situations and how they're affected by the COVID-19 crisis.
Well, let's see if we can talk in general terms about what some of those questions are. I'm sure people are wondering, is there authority to do what the state has done? How does it affect the way that that my case proceeds if I have something through the court system right now? What are some of the big questions you're getting?
Sure. Some of the big questions, we have clients with, court proceedings that were scheduled, were cases that had hearings that were going to be scheduled in the near future. So everything is on hold. I mean, the Supreme Court's order is very clear that any non-essential court hearing will be rescheduled. So those things are on hold. If you've subpoenaed witnesses, those subpoenas are delayed and stay in effect until the next hearing. Those everything is basically on hold, and so we're explaining to our clients that yes, things, if they haven't already been rescheduled, will be rescheduled. And in the meantime, unfortunately, the problems that people are dealing with that gave rise to that litigation are just gonna have to stay status quo until the world starts turning again.
Many cases have a timeliness element to them, though, that people are going to have to work their way through too, as well, right?
Timeliness as far as deadlines. If there are deadlines to file responses, response briefs or pleadings, those have been extended. Right now, the stay put on by the Supreme Court is until April 3rd. I think all of us fully expect, given the circumstances, that's going to be extended. So all deadlines are also extended per that order.
Are there other questions you've been getting that are more common or even more unusual that you maybe hadn't thought of before?
Well, one of the things that comes up, I have, a pretty significant family law practice, and I have lots of concerns from parents regarding child custody issues, particularly child custody exchanges. We're being, in addition to the shutdown of some industries and things, people are being advised to have this social separation where they're not to be coming in contact with other people as much as possible. Okay, how do you do child custody exchanges? Should a child be going back and forth from one parent to another? What if there are immunocompromised or elderly people in the household, and how does that work? What about child custody exchanges that are interstate? I had a client say, hey, I'm supposed to go, and the kids are supposed to have a long weekend at their dad's in Massachusetts this weekend. How's that going to work? And at that point, the rest stops and everything had been shut down, which some of them have reopened. But, those kinds of things, those practical family law matters. Businesses obviously are, 99% of businesses in the state are in some form of closure because of this. And so questions about, what about, cash flow? What is my responsibility to my employees? There have been some federal legislation that was pushed through pretty quickly for sick leave and or for pay for paid leave and other benefits for employees that are now mandatory. What about unemployment compensation? So all of these things. That and also people saying, hey, I've got my wedding booked and I put down a $2,000 deposit and it's next month. What do I do? Can we, what's the, how do you interpret that contract? And so every single facet almost of my practice is and my clients are being impacted by this.
Is there a landlord-tenant dynamic going on here?
There is. So as part of the Supreme Court's order, there can be no evictions may occur until April 3rd. And again, that's fully expected to be extended. In many states, they have put on months-long, 3, or I've heard, and I haven't confirmed this, but I've heard that some states have even put a 6-month prohibition on evictions. So that may be something that's coming here. And so you have tenants that are concerned, okay, what if I'm out of work, I can't pay my rent, am I going to be evicted? What can my landlord do? And then also, of course, landlords saying, well, we've got these rental properties, and we've got mortgages on them. The courts have said that we can't evict the tenants if they stop paying rent. And while sometimes they say, well, we may be very sympathetic with the tenant's position at this time and willing to work with them, what happens if this does go on for months and we've got mortgages on those properties? There's no law saying that that the bank can't foreclose on me or can't collect on that mortgage. So, there are multitudes of questions there that are going to have to be worked through. But I think the order to stay evictions, at least in the short term, I think is the right call. You've got to protect the more vulnerable population, but it's the longer it goes on, the more difficult it becomes for the landlords.
Marshall Chriswell on the line with us this morning. It's an installment of Marshall Law. I was interested in the logistics of how you go about your business day now without access to certain, I'm sure you don't have as much access as you would normally to certain court records or case records, and some of that might be electronically available, some might not. How do you go about that? How do you approach it?
So in my office, we from day one when I opened my doors in 2012, I wanted to be, and you can't have a paperless law office, that's almost impossible, but I wanted to be a less paper law office. I wanted to be able to work remotely if it was necessary or if I wanted to. And I wanted to have those resources available for my staff as well. So basically, myself and my staff can work from home. We have access to all of our files, and essentially, we can run things pretty seamlessly from our homes at this point. The court records, we do Some counties make those records available. Prothonotary make the records available online. Indiana County, obviously, where I practice most of the time, those the prothonotary records are 90% online. The court staff is still there, so the courthouses are open or closed to the public. Court staff is still there. If I need documents, I can call. They can email me things over if I can't access them. The recorders, I can still access the recorder of deeds, those things, and their staff is there to assist as well. So we've basically been able to keep things running remotely. We obviously can't meet in person with clients, and that's obviously a big deal. But we're still taking new clients. I'm doing phone consultations. And then scheduling folks for in-person meetings a few weeks down the road, and then touching base. Once that time starts to get close, we'll touch base and see where we are in the midst of this, the circumstances here, and see if what we need to do about those appointments. But I am taking new clients, servicing current clients, and we're able to make it happen.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How do people still deal with you and their various legal issues? And obviously you're still open, but in a whole different way. So if somebody does want to consult with you, what must they do?
Sure, you can still give us a call at the same number, 724-465-5826. You can contact me via email anytime. I am Chriswell at westernpalawyer.com, or you can go online onto the website to www.westernpalawyer.com, and you can reach us in those ways.
There you go. Have a germ and virus-free day today, Marshall.
Okay, you do the same. You take care.
There's
same. You take care.
There's